Hi, hello. Welcome to another session on my Algebra for Beginners. Now, in the last episodes, we have examined a quadratic equation, and we supply solutions on how to extract the root of a quadratic equation. And we found out that there are mainly three techniques to do that, namely factoring, completing the square, and of course the quadratic formula. Now, we devote this video in order for us to solve more problems. I've said before, it takes practice in order for us to be proficient in algebra. Now, let us uh, let us examine this program that I have designed for you. So all we need to do is to activate the we just need to open it in Chrome. So we open the application in Chrome, and here we have it. So this one is the entitled Quadratic Equation Master. So here we try to solve the quadratic equation by factoring quadratic formula and completing the square. Now, to facilitate learning, let me try to solve that using my note so that you could see it done step by step. So our first equation is 3x squared minus 21x plus 36. Might as well write it first. So this is through method 1, which is factoring. So, well, according to the program that I have written, we have to proceed with, we factor out the 3 first. As you can see, we put 3 outside, and then what's left inside the parenthesis is x squared. So if you take 3 from the 21, it becomes minus 7. Of course, because 3 multiplied by 7 is 21. And we are left here with 12. So 3 times 12 is 36. So effectively, we recover the same equation. So that's step 2. Now, again, we find two numbers that if we multiply will yield 12. And at the same time, it will add to negative 7. So probably you're thinking of this number, and the way for you to arrive at the correct number is, again, you have to think of this number such that when you multiply it, it has a product which is 12. So the possible candidates are 4 and 3. Now, how about the signs of this? Well, if we do positive, both of them, well, if we add them, it becomes 3 plus 4, which is 7. But the sign here is negative. So the only way for you to achieve a negative quantity is, let's assign it to be negative, such that when you add negative 3 and negative 4, it becomes negative 7. And if you multiply negative 3 and negative 4, then we recover 12. And that's correct. So here, by simple factoring, we have to designate this quantity x minus 3 to be 0 and x minus 4 to be 0 also, simply because if we multiply 0 by 0, it will give you a 0 also. So the roots here, we extract the roots now. So x minus 3 has to be 0, and x minus 4 has to be 0 also. This will result to x equals 3, and the other one is x equals 4. And that is the solution. And according to my Quadratic Equation Master web page, the solution is indeed 3 and 4. So this time we won't provide a check anymore. It's because I know that you are already proficient in algebra and we want to examine the techniques. So we go on further to the next technique, which is the quadratic formula. And here he has another quadratic equation, x squared minus 3x plus 2. So let me use again my note, and this time we scroll down to have more space, and now we are going to examine the second technique, which is the quadratic formula. Okay, I might as well write first the quadratic equation, x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Now, in order for us to get the roots, we have to consider the quadratic formula. And if you would try to recall in my previous videos, it is negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now we identify a here as 1, b here as negative 3, and c as 2. So all we need to do now is to plug in the associated values, which is for b, that is minus 3 plus minus square root of negative 3, and we have to square it, minus 4 multiplied by a is 1, and rc is 2, and we have to divide it by, yes, you're correct, 2 multiplied by 1, and we try to proceed. So we multiply negative by negative 3 by negative 1, so it becomes positive 3 plus minus negative 3 squared, which is 9, minus, well, 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, so over 2. And of course we recognize this as 1, so the square root of 1 is 1. We have to divide it by 2. Hence, our x now is 3 plus 1 over 2 and 3 minus 1 over 2. 3 plus 1 over 2, that's simply 4 over 2, and the other one, 3 minus 1 over 2, is just simply 2 over 2. Hence we have 2 and 1. So that is the solution, 2 and 1. And we try to see if that is correct. Yes, we are correct. According to my quadratic equation master, you are indeed a master of algebraic solutions pertaining to quadratic equations. You got the correct answer. That's 1 and 2. Okay. Now in the last method, we consider the completing the square. Okay. Now, in the completing the square method, we have 2x squared minus 6x. So might as well use again my note. So in the third method, we consider completing the square. Okay, so might as well write it first. 2x squared minus 6x equals 0. Now the first thing for you to do is, okay, we try to think of a value such that when we add it to both sides, we'll complete the square. But first, let's try to divide the equation by 2, or multiplied by 1/2. So this becomes x squared minus 3x equals 0. And again, I've told you that the formula here, the hint is to utilize b over 2a, and don't forget to square that before adding to the left and right side. So what's b here? So it's just negative 3. So negative 3 over 2. And what is a? It's understood that there's 1 here, so that's your a, negative 3/2. So don't forget to square that before adding to the left and right. So it means that if you square that, that becomes 9 over 4 equals 0 plus 9 over 4. Okay? Now, we recognize that this is now a perfect square x. Okay? So this is equivalent to parenthesis x minus 3 halves. Can you see it? If we try to square this term, it becomes 9 over 4. So effectively, we recover this value. Now, if we multiply the negative 3 halves by 2, we recover this value. And you can try to check that. So by simple squaring, so x minus 3 halves, x minus 3 halves, as you can see, if we multiply it here, it gives us x squared minus 3 halves x. It is also minus 3 halves x. That's the reason why we're multiplying it by 2, because we have negative 3 halves multiplied by negative 3 halves. And as you can see, we recover the same equation. So x squared minus 3, we have 3 halves, so we have 3x plus negative 3 halves multiplied by negative 3 halves will give you 9 over 4. So we recover the initial equation here. Therefore, this negative 3 halves is correct. So remember, the hint is b over 2a, or essentially negative 3 halves. Now, let's try to scroll down to have more space. Then, all we need to do now is recognize that x minus 3 halves raised to 2 equals 9 over 4. 9 over 4. So, in order for us to solve for the root, all we need to do is take the square root of both sides. So, essentially, we have something like this cancels out. We have x minus 3 halves equals positive and negative 3 over 2. And we transpose this to the other side, gives us 3 halves plus minus 3 halves. Therefore, we have the roots here. Okay, 3 halves plus 3 halves. And the other one is 3 halves minus 3 halves. This will now yield 6 over 2, or that's equivalent to 3. And the other one yields 3 halves minus 3 halves is 0. So that is the solution. So effectively, the solution here is 3 and 0. And according to our quadratic equation master, the web page that I have prepared for you, yes, we have indeed the solution, which is 0 and 3. And that's correct. Now, in the next episodes, we will explore more on algebra and algebraic expressions. But for now, that's all, and thank you.